Hello, everyone. Can everyone please take their seats? We're about to begin. Moving on to the next session is Heir to the Throne. Let us welcome session leader Sonia Robinson, presenter Allison Matulli, moderator Risha Lewis, and panelists Simone Hilton, Renaya Lewis Chambers, and Khadijah Williams. Before we get started, Allison Matulli, the founder and dean of legal literacy for the Little Lawyers, is the leading expert in empowering kids to know the law across the United States. Professor Matulli promotes legal literacy and designs creative curriculum for children to know law. Her book, Plessy, A Shoemaker Makes His Mark, is the only children's book that teaches kids the powerful ways in which laws can be used by ordinary citizens. Please welcome to the stage Mrs. Allison Matulli.
Thank you. So thank you for having this event, for us talking about such important issues. I mean, how many women in here understand the word crown when it comes to who they are and how they carry their hair? Yes, we all should be clapping, right? I mean, we're going to go through what I consider hair stories. Because when I strip away all my titles and the things that I've done, I'm really a storyteller. And that's where we really understand and connect with each other and the world, right? We all have our own hair stories. If you close your eyes now, you can probably think of the first time something happened to you in your own world, whether it was your childhood, whether it was later on in your teen years, whenever that was, even in adulthood, that you might have your own hair story. And we'll talk about what that really means in today's world, because today there's a consciousness that our hair stories aren't just stories. They're actually, wait for it, there are legal consequences that come with some of these hair stories, okay? There are laws that protect us from having negative hair stories at a young age. And there are ways for us to fight in order for us to have our hair stories acknowledged, meaning other people are listening, right? And have the law defend who we are and support who we are. And I'm talking about these seeds are planted from a very, very young age. So the Crown Act, we're going to go through what that means, but we're talking really about race-based hair discrimination and how early it starts. There are studies that show as early as 4 years old, a lot of kids, Black kids, encounter these moments. It might be with a teacher. It might be with a friend. It might be someone just doing a sly comment. Have we all heard that word, good hair? You have good hair. I remember hearing that a lot when I was a child. I was born in Trinidad, right? And if you don't know a lot about Trinidad, it's in the Caribbean. It's the one that's shaped like a boot. And from a very young age, we have a very interesting demographics in Trinidad. It's a blend of African culture and Indian culture. And then there's even the people who are blended in between, they're called Dogla. So we have an entire other word for the mixture of those two races, right? And as a child, hearing those words, good hair, I didn't really think about what that really meant. And most of us don't. Raise your hand if you've ever heard that term. Think a moment how that made you feel. If it applied to someone else, did you feel that you did not have good hair? If it applied to you, did it make you feel good? I can tell you as a child, that 4-year-old, that made me feel, oh, good. Oh my gosh, they actually think there's something good about me. There's something to be celebrated, right? It didn't make me conscious about the other people in the room that did not hear those terms. So we're going to ask ourselves through these series of stories we're about to look at what age does your hair story start? Was it at the age of 10 years old?
So yesterday I went to school and I wore my hair in an afro like this. And a lot of people had a lot of mean things to say about it. So that made me feel some type of way. So yesterday when I came home, I told my mom and she said, promise, don't forget who you are and who you are. I said, okay. So today I'm going to go to school and I'm going to come back bigger and better. And don't allow anyone to steal your joy. Don't give them that much power. I am, promise me, a more Sawyer.
Now, you've got to love this little girl, right? 10 years old, sharp as a whip, name is Promise as well. As a mother, as a Black mother, every day I promise my children I'm going to protect them. Every day I worry about my children being picked on or just in snide ways being passed over for certain things. And I don't know if that's innate only to the Black mother, but I know I feel it and I know I'm conscious of it. This mother made her child not only aware that she was there to protect her, but she made her invoke her First Amendment rights and share her story. This is a video that went viral, and you can understand why, right? Just think of the emotions you just felt hearing it directly from this girl. If I had said it would have been interesting. Yeah, it's a nice story. But when you hear a child tell you their hair story, she's going into school and she is being picked on because of her hair, a part of her that she was born with that is naturally part of her being. And it takes this moment where she says, I don't have to use that as my defeat. I can rise above. So many times, and I can tell you from my own culture, being, a Caribbean girl, told to, you can go to school forever. You could go to law school. I went on to law school. You can keep going. You can get as many degrees as you want. That's spirited. You want that smart girl, right? But not always do we want the girl that talks up, that speaks up, that uses that First Amendment right. And it's so important for us to make sure that our girls get those seeds planted very early. Here's another hair story.
Over that high school wrestler forced to cut his hair before a wrestling match. Outrage over a decision that many are calling outright racist. ABC's Adrienne Banker joins us now. And Adrienne, an investigation is now underway.
That's right, Amy. Good morning to you. A spokesperson with the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association says all groups and teams have agreed not to assign this referee to any event until further notice. This morning, there's mounting outrage over this video taken at a New Jersey wrestling match. It shows high school junior Andrew Johnson getting his dreadlocks cut off just before competing. The referee allegedly tells Johnson he would forfeit the match if he didn't submit to the haircut. The young wrestler appears visibly upset as his locks are shorn. A teammate is seen trying to console him. Now the state's Division of Civil Rights is launching an investigation. The video has created a firestorm on social media. Many call the episode racist. Oscar-nominated director Ava DuVernay tweets to watch this.
How many people, this is the first time seeing this young man being butchered in front of his entire community and also in front of the world? Because social media makes it so that your story is no longer your story, okay? It's the world over story. This young man, hair cut from his head, right beside the mat, moments before he was supposed to compete. What should he do? Cut off his hair and wrestle or forfeit the match? You see what happens. How does that make you feel? His mother was in the crowd. His grandfather was in the crowd. His friends were in the crowd. Everyone was there, enthusiastic, ready to watch him do something that he has the right to do, wrestle. He'd done everything, checked in on his weight. He did everything that he was expected to do, right? Right up to the match. And then he was told, because of part of a natural part of what he is, his hair, his crown, he has a choice. Cut off his identity and forfeit what he has the right to do, or proceed. I can't tell you, every time I see this movie, this video, it brings tears to my eyes. As a mother, we all know the choices that our children have to make at some time will not be protected by us. We have to prepare them. We have to plant those seeds early. And this young man used what tools he had to make a decision at that time. But as you can see, the adults in the room are not able to protect him. The ACLU of New Jersey called this not a question about hair, it's a question about race. And I think we can clearly agree that. Now, a lot of people are surprised how young hair stories start. And this is one that's very empowering.
Mommy, promise she will fix it.
A 4-year-old Chicago boy is the inspiration for a new Illinois law that bans discrimination in schools for hairstyles like braids, locks, and twists. Jet Hawkins faced discrimination at his preschool for wearing his hair in braids earlier this year. That law goes into effect January 1st.
I knew that that was problematic to tell me that a 4-year-old's hair was a violation of the code of conduct. And his hair was very well groomed. And so I really did not understand. Well, I understood. I felt like they didn't understand the impact of the rule that they were trying to enforce. As a Black mom, I feel like we all have PTSD. Every time we turn on the news and see these different stories, we absorb that energy and we understand what this world has waiting for our Black sons, especially. I took his hair down with him, crying the entire time, which broke my heart. And that really ignited the decision that we needed to fight this out. But I didn't initially start out fighting. I started out just talking and educating. I asked them if they were aware of the Crown Act. And I expressed to them that I did not want Jet to be victimized in this way. It used to be about just natural hair, but now it has evolved to creating a world with no racism. This is a movement to end hair discrimination nationwide. So far, the Crown Coalition, in partnership with Dove, has successfully helped to spearhead legislation ending hair discrimination in 14 states. So Illinois has not enacted the Crown Act just yet, but the Jet Hawkins Act is inspired by the Crown Act, and so they do recognize it. I started out by trying to resolve this matter internally. Then I took it to the court of social media, and then it escalated to the media. Mike Simmons got involved, Senator Mike Simmons, who wears free-formed locks. And when he saw Jet's story, he understood And he saw himself, which is why representation is so important, and wanted to jump in and do his part to help me to change this.
You can wear your braids in school. Everybody can wear their braids, or they can wear hair like mine. Like that. These are called locks.
Mommy and Sarah myself, gray hair bill that in the hair donations from all kids in Illinois like me.
I attribute it to Black mothers get it done. I feel like I'm just like any other mom who will go to the ends of the earth to protect my child.
Thank you, Mom.
Okay, thank you.
So you can see there, 4 years old, we see the possibility of planting those seeds so early. I think when you look at something like hair discrimination, it's so important to understand there is so much that we can do. There are people who are making moves, as you can see, as Jet did. There are people who are planting seeds. There are mothers who, and behind all of these stories, there are usually these Black mothers who are pushing hard, right? And trying to figure out how to navigate through this world. It's a complicated world, but it really comes down to this. The Crown Act itself, does anyone know if it exists in Florida or not? No, it does not. Okay? So right now there are 14 states, and Florida is not one of them. Is anyone surprised by that? Not to say that there aren't stories that pop up continuously of hair discrimination right here. There are schools that write policies. Sometimes you'll take out a school policy book and you'd be shocked by what is in the policy book when it comes to children of color and their hairstyles, whether or not locks are okay, braids are okay, whether or not they're able to come to school, and this ties into other things, of course, with the way they express themselves, the clothing they wear. This is all First Amendment rights. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled on certain things, like, whether or not you could wear religious items to school, right? But they haven't ruled on whether or not natural hair is protected. So that is something that is definitely in the future. And as the next generation of graduates, that is your fight to pick up and to keep pushing. Because one day, regardless of whether or not the hair story is your own, or your child, or your friends, or your brother, or your uncle, the ultimate responsibility belongs to us all. I'll go back to the moment that I myself realized how important it was to understand how to speak up. Because I told you, raised culturally, I was told, do all these wonderful things, get all these good grades, make sure you do the right thing. But, do it silently, get through, keep going, keep pushing. It was not until I stepped onto Howard Law campus and I realized the legacy and the ability that law gives us, this tool that law gives us in order for us to rise above, to push beyond. And at that moment, I realized that this is just one more tool to add to my box. When you look at what this young man was able to do with his mom, that's one more tool that we can all use. It's something that's available to us all. First Amendment rights is something that belongs to all of us. And it's so important for us to always understand and to persevere, realizing that our voice counts, our voice is important. It made me go on to write a Supreme Court case, turn a Supreme Court case into an actual story for kids. So I looked at the one case that I think that's one of the most pivotal cases that's taught in every single law school across the country. And this is Plessy, a shoemaker makes his mark. It's based on the Plessy v. Ferguson case. And the reason why this case is so important is the moment where separate but equal becomes the law of the land. The law of the land, meaning the Supreme Court made a decision And now you can be in separate spaces as long as they're supposedly equal with each other. And you see this translated again and again and again and again and again throughout our society, throughout American culture. And hair is part of that. Hair is part of that. Maybe someone can't discriminate against you directly for something else, but if they're able to separate something and try to pick on that, you have to be conscious. You have to have an eye open to make sure that you see those particular types of movements around you.
Just my dad always told me that I should love my hair. So I did.
Wait for me right here for a second. Excuse me, sir. We have a strict hair policy here. I'm afraid I can't let you attend school today.
Even when it wasn't easy.
We talked about this. You can't wear braids if you want to walk at graduation.
Even when no one else did. My dad always told me that I should fight for my hair. So I am.
Now, this campaign you can actually go to and join as well. And you could join the petition because petition, again, another First Amendment right. So make sure if you leave with nothing else today, know that you can be part of the movement. You can be part of the mission, and you're needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you so much. So now we're here for our second session, and it's Hair of the Thrones. Our first representative speaker is Ms. Simone Hilton, the co-owner of Natural Trendsetters, the first natural hair salon in South Florida, and co-creator and producer